All right, guys, welcome to Just Driven. Today's video is going to be somewhat unique. We are going to introduce some new projects to the channel. A few months back, I got the bug to acquire a 964 911, so we bought 3. And we're excited to share these with you, so stand by. Something we haven't done actually ever in the history of Just Driven's YouTube have we ever introduced mods to a Porsche 911, so stick around. All right, guys, welcome to Just Driven. Today's video is going to be a little different. I know you guys are used to seeing Fast and Furious stuff on our channel, but several months back, Alex and I talked about acquiring some Porsche 911s to backdate. You know, the best candidate to backdate is a 964 Porsche. And unfortunately, in this country, 964 Porsches are through the roof. They're extremely hard to obtain. As you know, we buy so many cars in Japan. A couple of these cars popped up in the auctions, and we decided to keep our eyes open for 964s. And guess what? We acquired 3. And the 3 we acquired are all beautiful cars, beautifully equipped. One is a C4, one is a C2, and then we have this wide body C2 that we're gonna bring Alex in here in a few minutes to kind of go into the details of this build. Let's do the pretty one first.
I mean, pretty on the outside.
What's this kit called again? What is this kit?
This kit, from what we found out after so you saw this on the Japan auction sites, and you're like, dude, you gotta see this car. It's your style. Mainly my style because of the Workmeisters that are on it.
Yeah, he loves Workmeister wheels, by the way.
Okay. All day long on Porsches.
He had a 997 that was really sick, a C4S.
S1 3-piece just really stand out on this car. It's similar to like the Porsche Cup wheels that come from Speedline that are 3-piece also. It's an homage to that wheel essentially from Work, but from a Japanese manufacturer. Better lip sizing, better barrels, just the right offsets to fit the body of either a narrow or a wide-bodied car. This car being converted wide-body, we know was an R car through Japan. So this body kit is actually from GT America in Colorado that got shipped to Japan, fitted, and this car is fully repainted and color changed. They didn't do the color change the way we would have done it. We would have dropped everything.
Yeah, and that's the problem we run into when you buy a project that someone else has already started.
Whoever was in Japan then decided to build this car, ordered all the stuff from the US, freight shipped it or air shipped it over to Japan, had it fitted, and then color changed the car. They did it fairly well, except for the fact when you open the engine lid or the bonnet and you remove like the carpeting and those materials, you can really tell that it didn't get the engine out to color match the engine bay or the front bonnet area.
And you're a red car guy like
yeah, and
this is a real guards red car.
I love factory red. My 997 was the white C4S, and I love white, but when we found out that it wasn't originally a white car and knew that it was red, to go back to red would make the most sense for us and what we like to see, because red with polished barrels and a gold wheel, red calipers, like the whole package just fits and really works well. The car actually sounds really aggressive. We don't know what's going on underneath it because we haven't gotten it on the lift. Clearly been lowered. It's got some sort of suspension. The exhaust is crazy loud and lopey.
Yeah, very lopey.
So we don't know what's going on in the engine bay or if it has a tuned ECU. being that it was part of Japan's era of car builds, this could very likely have an ECU. It could have cams. These motors are fairly easy to work on, so it's not that hard to pull the valve covers off and see if we have cams in there. But it needs a lot of reshaping in terms of finish work. That's essentially where all the details lie at the end of a project like this. So the emblem on the hood, the moldings for all like the bumpers and the side skirts, the fit and finish of the wing needs to all be readdressed before this car gets color changed. From what I found on researching this from GT America, this is their RSR tribute kit for a Porsche 964. It doesn't have like the race car RSR front bumper where it holds an oil cooler.
Which I don't like.
Right, which would make sense. If you're going to track it, sure, put the RSR front end, put an oil cooler there, it'll help. But this front end is more street style and actually looks really good.
I prefer this one.
Yeah. And along with the fit and finish of the freaking wheels, and the backs could come out a little bit, but it's cambered, so.
It actually, the car looks really amazing. Our thought originally was to do some backdating, you know, go back to what a 1971 or a 1972 Porsche 911 looks like. You know, as you guys know, Singer, there's all sorts of different manufacturers now building these stunning backdated Porsches. And 964s are great candidates to do that too, because, you know, a 964 still air-cooled, has power assist steering, has a G50 transmission, just everything is more modernized, and they're really an amazing road car. You know, it's kind of ironic, the 964 was really kind of the black sheep of Porsches. People really weren't huge fans when the 964 was introduced in late '89. It was too much of taking an early 911 from the '80s and even the late 70s and transforming it, you know, putting airbags in it and putting the larger bumpers on it and adding all sorts of modern conveniences to it. People thought Porsche was getting too far away from that early 911 car. You know, as the 964 was replaced by the 993, the 993 just freaking hit it out of the park. Everyone loves 993s. And of course they went water cooled after that into the 996s, 997s, and everything you see on the road today after. But the 964s are starting to grow in popularity, and now they're getting expensive to the point where you can't touch one of these cars in the US. Under 100 grand is a deal.
Yeah, for C2s with, I mean, this one has, I think, 115,000 kilometers.
Right.
A comparable car in the US as a C2, even modified and stuff, they're still close to this 80, 90 grand mark.
Well, what is that in miles? About 80,000? 75,000?
So this one is...
So, oddly enough...
115. I want to say around 75 to 80,000.
And I think they're all about there. I think these all have... Yeah, this is 105 kilometers. So they're all around 60, 70,000 miles. And to buy a 60, 70,000 mile 964, US 964, you're going to spend 100 grand for a clean one. These two were number 4 cars. This was an R car because of all the modifications. From what we can tell so far and what our friends in Japan told us, that this car's never been hit. There's no rust issues. This was just a really cool looking car. And honestly, as it showed up, it's got some sex appeal to it. It's a really attractive looking car.
Well, it seems like it's been properly bonded in terms of the fender flares and stuff being fiberglass, because that's the only way they came for this kit to adapt to this body.
And it's clean under here.
Dude, it's not bubbling. It's not, I don't know. They did a really, really good job overall in terms of getting everything fitted and to look proper. So this is a really good candidate to go back to the original color, touch up the interior, like make it your own, fix the shift linkage because it's super wonky, and then find out what mods are on this thing and then just turn it back to red.
Or the other option.
Backdate this one?
No, the other, well, that was our original intention, was just to backdate it. Honestly, we weren't expecting much. We were kind of anticipating that we were going to hate it. And it's really the opposite. We actually really like it. And we were going to yank it all off and backdate it and wide body it, because a lot of the companies now are backdating wide body versions of the early 71, 72 cars. The other option is, and I don't know, tell us what you think, is pull everything out of the trunk area and just paint it white.
Paint it white.
And just leave it white, because other than some touch-up work, we have to reinstall the side skirts because we're not big fans of how they've been attached, and just kind of leave it the way it is. We want to clean up the wing. The wing isn't perfect.
I didn't see that sticker. It says Heartland Racing Club on the back, so we'll have to look that up too.
Oh, yeah.
So on the interior of this car, I don't know 100% if these are factory Porsche 964 seats, because they don't match any of the other ones.
So here's what Alex from the upholstery shop came over and said.
Because they're powered too.
He said these are Porsche seats, and they're probably the most desirable of all the Porsche seats. I forgot to mention that to you.
Sick. I mean, if they work,
said they're
then just
super
reupholster
expensive.
them. Because they actually hug you well,
Right.
compared to the traditional, like, just elongated seat.
Right.
With no support.
And this car has zero shrinkage on the dash. The door panels are in amazing shape. This car would be a real easy car to perfect. I mean, yes, the transmission feels a little sloppy, unlike these two, super tight.
All the stuff that's out now through Renline, or even the the CAE shifter that I had in my 997.
Oh yeah, that was sick.
This car with the look and the stance, I think deserves that style of shifter because it's exposed, the entire mechanism, and it's all short throw. It feels like a sequential lever, but you still have an H pattern.
Yeah, this has got the upgraded mirrors too. These are the upgraded, you could see the bases are more squared than the bases on these guys. These
a
are
lot of mods went into this car.
Yeah.
A ton of mods went into it.
A ton of money went into this build. Yeah. There's no question about it. What do you guys think? Do you like it? Do you guys like this kit?
I'm starting to like it a lot more.
I'm in love with it.
I fell in love with it when I saw the pictures. I was like, oh shit.
I mean, the first things we said were, let's get rid of the exhaust tip. Let's do a center exhaust, reshape the rear bumper, kind of clean up this front lip.
Yeah, I'd really like to know if this has been modified anymore underneath.
This thing's going to go on the lift as soon as we have some room. Get some of these other projects off the lift. So it's funny, the white car being all-wheel drive feels a bit heavier to steer. I don't know, you haven't really driven that car yet.
I haven't driven it a lot, but just moving it in and out of the shop, that one feels stiffer and heavier.
And what's cool about this car is it's got the Cup 2 wheels on it, which I actually like.
So these are pre-Workmeister wheels.
Kind of similar.
Non-three-piece Workmeister wheels.
And the best part of this car, sunroof delete, and that is hard to come by. So to find a car without a sunroof is not an easy task.
I have an idea. We chop this roof off, put it on that car.
Yeah.
Put that roof on this car. C4 with a sunroof.
Essentially what's involved in doing a backdate is pretty much turning all these cars into what we refer to as the long-nose Porsches of the 70s, the early 70s. It would require replacing the hood, replacing the bumpers, bonnet, and replacing the entire front end componentry, the lights, the chrome bits and pieces, the fenders.
Yeah, it's the front valance pan, right?
Yeah, it's
the bulk nose or whatever?
Yeah, the valance pan and the little bumperettes and the little turn signals that have a chrome edge to them. The nice thing about, like I said, a 964 is all the glass and all the window frame surround is all correct. You know, this little insert right here gets replaced with a chrome piece to backdate it to early 70s. I'm a huge fan of the turbo look. And the turbo look without the big wing, in my opinion, is just super sexy. And the black car, I think we're not going to backdate that car. I think we're just going to wide body it. And the wide body kit is amazing because it's not fiberglass, it's all steel. And it's essentially cutting these fenders out and welding the extensions on them. Same thing on the back.
Well, what's cool is that they're all factory Porsche part numbers, so it's all OE stuff.
Which is amazing because there's going to be very little requirement to use any filler whatsoever. And I'll probably end up deleting the turn signal on the fenders.
Somewhere.
You know, US didn't have turn signals on the fenders, so probably delete that. It requires a wider front bumper, it requires a wider rear bumper, and then of course the rockers get replaced with a much wider, thick look. But so that's kind of our plan. I mean, you know.
The cool part about Diane is the white on navy blue. So it's not like a really like vibrant royal blue that's kind of ugly to look at. It's very subtle. So if we update the interior and do like some leather Recaros in pole position,
that would be cool.
And then just do the blue leather around with houndstooth in the middle, and then just recarpet it and a steering wheel that matches. Because Momo came out with so many classic steering wheels, and Momo was the supplier for Porsche racing. Being that this is a non-airbag car, then it makes the most sense to switch to a Momo classic steering wheel and have it re-wrapped in the same blue as the Recaros, and that's all this interior needs.
Yeah.
And then maybe
so what do you think? Backdate the C4?
Shit, I don't know.
Because no sunroof.
Yeah, I don't know.
Skinny body, Cup 2 wheels. I mean, what do you think? It's an all-wheel drive car. No sunroof, all-wheel drive car. Do you backdate this, guys?
If you backdate this one and you do those interior updates, then you do like the 3-piece Fuchs wheels in like a 17 or an 18. Backdated.
Yeah.
On the black one, the C2, wide body, and then do like the 3-piece Racing Cup wheels on this one. So Fuchs 3-piece on Diane, Racing Cup 3-piece on this black C2, regular wide body, backdate wide body. Because the 964 did come in a factory wide body option.
Yeah, that was only in 94. That was 94 only, and they only made, I mean,
200 and under 300. They are about 100 and like minimum 150 grand to just get your foot into one.
I think most of those today are just in collectors' hands, not being driven because of the rarity factor. To take
we don't generally like anything stock. So to get a $160,000 car, just to look at it and leave it stock, everything gets wheels and tires, suspension, some sort of interior update, whether it's just a reupholstery or customization of something somewhere. It's never gonna look like this when it leaves from us.
This car, if I had no choice and it wasn't an option to do anything to this car, I'd probably just put Cup 2 wheels on it. Because these look like the Porsche 944 wheel.
Standard option wheel,
base wheel.
Yeah. Well,
semi-base wheel.
Yeah. This is super base, but they have a sunroof because it doesn't have power seats. A very run-of-the-mill type of car, but they added the sunroof.
Right.
Because it's black on black, C2. The car that isn't getting backdated wide body, we already bought a wide body kit for, and it's en route, on order. We're waiting for the shipping dimensions so we can get it here, and that's from Design 911.
Yeah,
all
Design 911.
Factory Porsche part numbers.
And we'll share that
this
build
car's
with
going
you.
that way.
We're going to show you what's involved in taking a C2 skinny body and turning it into a factory wide body look.
I mean, if I had the option, I would always choose a C2 over a C4.
Yeah.
If I didn't have the option, like I didn't with my 997, also because I wanted that wide body, then the C4 is always a go-to, especially in a wide body.
But it's a shame the C4 is the skinny body.
Yeah,
and
in the 964 era, C4 is skinny body. Once it became 993, they copied the turbo wide body without the ducts for the intercoolers.
Because remember, a lot of people may not know this, and again, this isn't for you Porsche enthusiasts that know all this stuff. The 964 is really the introduction to the all-wheel drive system. I mean, mind you, it was really perfected in the 959, which was in the late 80s. You know, really the first true 911 all-wheel drive was really in the 964 body.
Yeah, it's a full-on production car because the 959 was a homologation car only.
Yeah, super rare.
Yeah. So in terms of power for all three cars, these cars aren't known for power. That's why there was a turbo option. So the guy that wanted power bought a turbo option. The naturally aspirated 3.6 liters, they're rated at around 250 to the crank based on Japanese horsepower. And yeah, there's stuff we could do to it, but I think personally the best thing about these cars is essentially the driving experience and the noise that it's making out of the back. How fast you're getting there from 0 to 60 or light to light isn't why you're driving this car. Essentially, if this has cams and an ECU, freaking cool. Let's see what it does with the exhaust system that's on it, and then switch it to a center exit. They do sell headers for all these generations that are drop-in and still work with the air-cooled system, and I think that's really it.
We can add an ECU if you wanted to.
On my C4S, it wasn't fast, but it fucking sounded insane when I put a GT3 titanium center exit and Fab Speed headers, and I still had cats on it, so it still passed emissions. You you can't.
Well, that's what I'd like to do.
You can't beat that
car.
noise. Yeah.
I'm gonna probably keep the black car.
Yeah.
Probably gonna keep the black car. Customize
Yeah, we do have the one client for this car or the other white car, and they just have to essentially choose if they like this kit and want to stick in this direction. Cool. If they want to start from scratch and do a backdate or just do a wide body, then they could choose that one.
I mean, doing a backdate is a big, huge job.
It's a ton of work. It renders the most money back down the road.
For those of you who have been following us, and if you haven't been following us, why not? Don't forget to like, comment, or subscribe. For those of you guys who follow us, you know that we are very meticulous about what we do. We feel like we could really make a name for ourselves in doing a backdate transformation to one of these cars. That was really the whole purpose of acquiring one of these cars. Ultimately turned into 3. But
ooh, this one's nice. We should buy that one.
This is nice too.
Ooh, this one's nice. Oh, let's buy that one. I mean, it helped that we sold a lot of cars because I mean, the Evo 5's gone, the S13's gone. The S2000's gone, the red R34 GTT, and what else?
Yeah, you did sell a bunch of stuff.
That's 4 cars, so we only replaced with 3.
So, and you know, what a
so we
bit...
had to buy another one. Oh, we did. You just can't see it.
Which one?
The GC8.
So we have a lot more to discuss.
Oh, we sold the S15.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Oh, we need to buy it now.
Well, they don't know yet. I guess they know now. They know from Instagram too, based on Alex.
If you guys don't know, a good friend of ours, Alex, purchased the yellow S15 from us.
That's gonna do it with our introduction for the 964s. We're gonna go ahead and wait for that wide body kit to get here for this black Carrera 2.
And tell us what you guys think. Would you leave it white? Would you leave it as is? Would you perfect it? Would you color change it back to its original red? What would you guys do? A lot more coming in future videos. Thanks for watching. We'll see you on the next one. Good itch, by the way. I love how you did that without shaking the camera.
Image stabilization.
He did it so well. So focused.
I'm like sweating and it's like...
I had a couple early 70 911s. I had some late 70 911s. I had a handful of 944s. In 2007, when the GT3 RS came out, Paul Walker and I pulled the trigger on the purchasing of 2. I bought an orange one, he bought a white one. They were delivered in Long Beach, and we had an absolute blast with those 2 cars. And then I kind of got out of the 911 scene from there, started playing around with Ferraris. Yeah, that was my first real performance 911, and it was brand new, was the GT3 RS.
And then after that, there's like the other onesie twosies that you bought, like the triple black convertible 930 manual that we ended up buying and then selling.
The Widowmaker.
Yeah.
That was a rare car. We bought that in Beverly Hills, remember?
Yep, original owner. Then the other one was that red slant nose that ended up being that super rare.
Gambala.
Yeah.
The Gambala
super
car, I forgot
rare
about
slant nose that also got sold to Europe.
Yeah, yeah. Oh, and the 928s. We did a 928 on our channel. And then we also have a red 928 manual also. Forgot about that car. Porsches are just an absolute blast of a car. You know, they're getting really expensive today.
Rear mid-engine cars are fun though.
You know, I grew up, and when I was 16, 17, 18, it was in the 80s, and these were the cars that I remember dreaming and lusting over, you know. Yeah, exactly.
Staying alive, baby.
Yeah, kind of living my youth again.